Welcome to the Veritas Forum, engaging university students and faculty in discussions about life's hardest questions and the relevance of Jesus Christ to all of life.
Well, I don't think there's anything incompatible with indefinite life extension and Christianity. I think in practice the question will never get framed that way. It will always be framed: do you want to cure cancer? Do you want to cure this type of disease or that sort of disease? So it's not like you're going to take this pill and you will live forever. So it's always going to be framed.
I'm pretty sure Ray Kurzweil was on my flight out here, so I don't know if
he thinks it will just happen automatically without people doing anything at all. So the singularity is near. Just sit back and eat the popcorn. So that's not going to happen. But in practice, it will always get framed in terms of very specific questions. And I do think that both the hopeful and Christian and ethically correct answer is to always side on the side of, almost always on the side of, yeah, it would be good to have the cure for cancer or this other disease, and so on. And this is sort of a complicated intellectual history question. I think this would be very hard to sort out. But I do think this sort of idea of finding radically extending people's lives was part of the very early modern science project from the 17th and 18th century onwards. And I cannot help but wonder whether that was in part because of Christianity having said that was a possibility. And so if you lived in a world where people said, death is natural, it's just what happens to everybody, then that would not have been a realistic goal. But if you and this was certainly not part of, say, Greek science in the 5th century BC. There was no Francis Bacon who wrote as though something like this was conceivable.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm not sure that it was ever part of a Christian agenda, because the Christian agenda always was resurrection, and which, if properly understood, would be resurrection not into some fluffy non-spatio-temporal heaven, but into actually a new world, a God making new heavens and new earth. But it seems to me, if people are saying that this is something which is now possible, something which is now conceivable, it seems to me more likely that what they're saying is, we Christians have had a tradition of curing diseases as best we can and of working medically. And of course we have to remind ourselves that until the middle and late 19th century, the average life expectancy for a reasonably healthy adult man or woman was in the 40s or 50s rather than 60s, 70s, 80s. So that in a sense, it's been already remarkably successful, that a lot of people who in generations gone by would have been dead by the time they were my age, mid-60s, are still, well, here we are, still here, living proof that something's happened. So I don't see there's anything wrong in saying we could actually increase that, but the point at which it treads into dangerous territory, it seems to me, would be to imagine a sort of elixir of life, as you say, a magic pill, something which sounds rather like what was in the Garden of Eden and wasn't allowed to be taken.
For more information about the Veritas Forum, including additional recordings and a calendar of upcoming events, please visit our website at veritas.org.